Thank you, Madam Speaker, for the opportunity.
Sewungu first, then. Sewungu first, then Alan.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, one of the most bright people in the army during that time is Honorable Bright Ramirama here. And if he takes history of Massacre, when they captured Massacre, one of the resources they used to win the war was coffee. You took coffee, signatures made by General Eddie Tumwine, the late Minister, rest in peace, and that's how, and Leyland vehicles. That was Coffee Marketing Board. Later on, you killed the coffee after taking government. And people have fought their battle using UCDA to come back. Bugorob is nowhere. All the cooperatives are nowhere. People have started growing their coffee, and UCDA has given them support. Why do you fear people becoming rich? Why? Why do you fear people having money? Statistics in our constituencies show that because of coffee and UCDA giving them seedlings, people have got money. They are paying fees for their children. They are taking them to St. Mary's College. They are even paying money in government USE schools where you are not giving enough funds. But here you are trying to bring a penalty by meandering back to the system. Kindly, Honorable Bright Rambirama, go to Isingiro, where you come from. You know that bananas being grown there. Were they there at that time? What have you done to the horticulture? Obote, by meandering back to the system and produce for all other kindly.
Right, Honorable Speaker, I come from Kasambia, and they grow coffee. I want to make some clarification. Honorable Sewungu and all the other colleagues that mentioned that UCDA gives coffee seedlings. UCDA has never given any coffee seedling in my constituency. It is Operation Wealth Creation that has been giving coffee seedlings in the constituencies, not UCDA. Second, Right Honorable Speaker, the information I want to give you. Yes, the information I want to give you.
Yes, you give the information. Give the information.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. UCDA that these people are talking about has never even sent any staff in my constituency to know how many coffee farmers that are in my constituency. If your mother ministry says you... Therefore, Right Honorable Speaker, the information I wanted to give him and the clarification is that UCDA has never given any coffee seedling to my people, not even to any person here. They can even confess.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. You see, Madam Speaker, there are members, sometimes we give time to talk. And wasting time with Honorable Kabanda is really a wastage of time. Because if you are a member of Parliament, and you are not aware of what you are doing.
Tell us what you're saying.
Madam Speaker, I have to care because he was giving information.
You and continue.
He needs more time to be educated about constituency and UCDA. But however, continue with your spirit as you are taking it to yourself. The boomerang will be on you. The boomerang is on you. But UCDA has been giving us seedlings. From Mugabirano. Now the one who took over, they have been doing that role. Even quality assurance alone. When you talk about Kasambia that does not have quality assurance about whom are you presenting in this house?
Thank you. Alan.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for the opportunity. Madam Speaker, I listened very well to the Minister. He was suggesting a transition of 3 years.
Yes.
And Honorable Abendi Wanika came in and gave in a transition of 5 years. Madam Speaker, they are not giving us a justification. And some people are suggesting 10 years. Others are suggesting 20 years.
Honorable Minister. Honorable Minister. This young man here has a very good, bright future. The young boy is asking you, what is the justification of the 3 years? No,
Speaker,
the young MP is very brilliant. That is a very good question.
Madam Speaker,
you'll come, Honorable Minister. You take note.
Yes.
He has a very pertinent question.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, the Minister is not giving us a justification. And even Honorable Abeni Bwanika failed. Therefore, Madam Speaker, why are we legislating in anticipation? Why don't you wait until the 3 years elapses, or even 10, or even 5?
So you agree that we give the 3 years to elapse, then we legislate?
Madam Speaker,
You're suggesting?
I'm recommending.
You're recommending?
I'm recommending like this. I'm recommending finally. We are not allowed to legislate in anticipation. Therefore, I recommend we maintain the status quo and we don't rationalize UCDA. Thank you.
Derek. Hey.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Thank you, Madam Speaker. Colleagues are here arguing that I'm not a farmer, but I have farmers, and I'm a businessman.
Honorable members, Derek's voters are farmers. Yes.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And they are into business of coffee. They buy coffee, and I want to talk as a businessman.
They should even see your size.
Yes.
Yes.
They are into business, and I want to talk, and I want to address this in a business angle.
A perspective.
Yeah. In business, let us assume this is government in business, and we have been accredited to do business and given the license. And today we are opting for something to clear an agency that has been accredited to opt for 5 years or 10 years without getting a license to operate, which is going to be a loss to the nation, to the farmers, and it is also going to put us in a situation.
I want you to address this issue that Derek is raising very clearly. No, don't go. You people, what Derek is raising is very, very pertinent on the issue of accreditation. So we need that brought out very clearly. Yes, you continue.
Madam Speaker, if only the Minister could address on that and give us assurance, we do believe, yes, I submit.
Thank you. I told you Derek was giving a very good point. Brenda.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker, for this opportunity. First of all, I want to respond to what the Minister said, that actually they have so many bodies doing the same work like the ministry. Right Honourable Speaker, I come from a family that has been growing coffee for a long time, from my great-grandparents to my grandparents to my parents. So I know when coffee is thriving, I know when the prices are low, I know when they're affected, and I think I'll give you advice that in the 60s, our parents managed to go to good schools because coffee was thriving. In the 80s, it went down. People used to market coffee using cooperatives, and then when they were abolished, removed, they failed. Coffee went down. The prices went low. It is only this time. For the coffee farmers, they usually sell coffee in tins, and that tin now costs 40,000. It has never happened before. It's because UCDA has been doing good. They have been making sure that we store our coffee well. They look for markets. They improve on our...
Your bill is coming
the
next.
way coffee is being handled.
The minister is here.
Honorable Ramilama, I need to inform you that a decision to abolish UCDA is going to cost your government a lot. Because our farmers are saying, regardless of the toughness of UCDA, we still want it to exist because we are seeing good results. Please don't trade this way. Otherwise, you're going to pay for this. Because our coffee farmers, as the coffee farmers, we are saying we must.
Fortunate, Madam Teacher.
Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker. I would like to appreciate the reports of both the majority in terms of the body and not the conclusion, and the minority report, the one given by our shadow minister. Right Honorable Speaker, the minister has indicated the point of rationalization was doing away with agencies that are milking our economy. We have clearly seen that this UCDA, just in the last financial year, brought in an income of over 82.25 billion. Yet its budget was only 44.76 billion. This indicates that with actually time, UCDA is going to become self-funding. Right Honorable Speaker, our people are saying no to rationalizing UCDA. If it is really brought in good faith, why not wait for the 3 years to expire? You sort your issues in order, then come back to this house. Those who will be here then will be able to pass this bill. Otherwise, Right Honorable Speaker, I submit on behalf of the people of Chotera, no to rationalizing UCDA, putting it in my ear. Thank you.
Robert.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, on the issue of coffee, we are on the issue of life and death. In that, even a layman down there, many of our boys and girls.
After Robert, you go to Caboose Moses. Moses, don't be distracted. Moses, you're being distracted. Then Juliet.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Most of our Ugandan boys and girls are going abroad to be slaves. But those who have managed to be here with the coffee, they are doing well. That is agriculture. We used to study in SST. The major economic activity in Uganda is farming. And the main economic activity through the cash crop you are in for was coffee and cotton. That's why you had the gineries around. We had the coffee factories around. Now by this regime you have nothing. And the Rito which is struggling to survive, they are running for it. There is a term in Uganda used which I will not use. And that very term, you find someone who just come for something which is on top, you pick that one. Instead of helping it to go up. In that perspective, Honorable Speaker, I will challenge Minister of Agriculture. Your research desk is so weak to the extent that even you wish to sell the land of research centers. The narrows are they are nowhere to be seen. The coffee wilt has been disorganizing our farmers. You have never come to rescue. But now you are coming for profits, which Ugandans have struggled to maintain and have. Shame.
Moses.
Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I bring you greetings from
the islands.
Yes, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, in May 2023, I'll be brief, the President commissioned 52 billion shillings. President Museveni, Honorable Katumba, you remember, in Kalangala. And it was for oil palm growing in Kalangala. Madam Speaker, ever since then, Ministry of Agriculture has never, in Chamuswa, has never even organized a single meeting
with the farmers, even with the 52 billion shillings. The questions my farmers in Kalangala who are in coffee growing have with the capacity and competence of the Ministry of Agriculture, okay, the capacity of the Ministry of Agriculture to handle coffee that was growing on by its own are many. Madam Speaker, my farmers suggested that I bring you their opinion that coffee should be left the way it has been managed.
But you bring it to the house, not to me and it among.
Yes, Madam Speaker.
Yeah, thank you.
Madam Speaker, I dressed like this humble. When a Muganda dresses like this, it's not for war, but to communicate that let this matter be handled with the dignity it has had, and let it be not be vulgarized. Coffee should be left the way it has been, and farmers should benefit from it and not be killed like other institutions have been killed under the ministry.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Lutaya.
Thank you so much, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker, I have heard from the Minister, Honourable Bright Ramilama. But I'm wondering, Honourable Minister, why you people preach patriotism, yet you are not patriotic. You pretend like serving good food, yet you know very well that you have poison in that food. Yes. You know the curse you are creating for your family. You know what coffee means to most of our families. Yes. Why are you serving one person instead of the whole country? Yes. You mean you don't know? You mean you don't know what you are doing? We know that you are serving poison, pretending that you are giving us good food. I strongly deviate from what you are trying to bring to this house. I beg to submit.
Thank you.
Honourable Juliet.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker, for the opportunity.
Juliet,
I not only represent farmers, but I myself am also a farmer. Moreover, a serious one, a coffee farmer. Right Honourable Speaker, I listened very well to all the three reports. All of them collaborated when it came to the contributions of agencies. Right Honourable Speaker, this institution, Parliament, is very good at it's good at backbenching. When you go for backbenching, we not only look at the benchmarking, we not only cater for the strong areas, but also areas of weaknesses. Right Honourable Speaker, the reports were all clear that countries which are doing well as far as coffee is concerned, they all do it not through their respective ministries, but under agencies. The reports also showed that the countries that have decided to rationalize, they've ended up backsliding. So, Right Honourable Speaker, we should always learn from even the mistakes of others.
Yes, Fred.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, yesterday,
you'll speak.
When I was listening to the report.
Speak. You mean Alan has not spoken? Okay, Fred, then Alan.
Madam Speaker, when I was listening to the report of the committee being presented by the able chairperson, I looked at the observations, then I smiled. I knew that is the daughter of a historical to this country. Madam Speaker, when it came to the conclusion, I got lost whose daughter made the conclusion. Madam Speaker, she made it very clear that the reason behind RAPEX was to eliminate those agencies which were parasiting on the treasury of this country. That was very... She made it clear to this house that UCDA is not a parasite to this country. She made it very clear. That's why I saluted her. Madam Speaker, we are talking about the livelihood of people. Madam Speaker, my grandmother is watching this debate. She tried the moringa brought by this ministry.
You still have a grandmother?
Yes, she's there. She's watching. She tried the moringa under the ministry. It failed. She tried the caterpillars under the ministry. It failed. She tried aloe vera, chigaji, under the ministry. It failed. Now the coffee...
Isaiah,
under the watchful hand of the ministry. Madam Speaker, we said no to UCDA and they're not taking our coffee. Thank you very much.
Alan, Isaiah, Kirabo, Mariamo, Mama Mbale. I am
Thank you,
coming
Madam
down.
Speaker.
What is the problem?
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving me way. Madam Speaker, I'm not talking as a coffee farmer, but I'm talking as a coffee consumer who represents coffee consumers of Makindye and Kampala at large and some other areas. As a coffee consumer, I'm now much worried about the quality of coffee which will be supplied to us in the market. Because UCDA has been ensuring quality coffee in the market in Uganda and outside Uganda. So if it is taken to the Agriculture Ministry, we are very worried as consumers that our much favored coffee will not be favored in the whole market because of the lackluster way of the Agriculture Ministry, the way they do things, not concentrating on that type of quality of the bean of coffee. So, Madam Speaker, that's why I'm not supporting the rationalization of our Uganda Coffee Development Authority, because as consumers and businessmen, we are going to suffer with the poor quality coffee being produced under the supervision of the Agriculture Ministry. I beg to move, Madam Speaker.
Isaiah, Kirabo.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker.
Koluo, you don't know about coffee. Koluo.
Right Honourable Speaker, I am a coffee farmer. I'm a chairperson of a primary society. I am a board member to the Bugisu Cooperative Union.
I know what I am saying.
And quite often, I've been coming to office, Madam Speaker, getting permission.
And bringing me coffee.
Yes, to leave this parliament, and I represent farmers of Bugisu in the international market. Even 2 days back, I've just come from Tocho, Madam Speaker. But when you go to the international market, Madam Speaker, it's not about the quantity of coffee you have. It's about the quality of coffee. And the quality of coffee always has a regulator. Quality of coffee starts from the nursery bed, where it is grown, where it is raised, up to the harvesting, up to the processing, up to the exporting. Now there must be an authority for that matter, which must ensure the control and of quality of the coffee as it starts from the nursery bed. Madam Right Honourable Speaker and members, if you go to the statistics of coffee export and you go to the international market, Uganda is doing very well. Initially, we could have a few bags of coffee export, but by God's grace, coffee is all over the whole of Uganda. You go to Eastern Uganda, massively they have planted. You go to Northern, they have started. Uganda needs UCDA today than even before, because we need that regulator to ensure the quality supply of coffee.
There's information from another coffee grower.
I'll take it with your permission, if my time will not.
Yes. Thank you so much for giving in. Madam Speaker, I'm a serious coffee farmer, and I worked in the coffee sector for 7 years. The information I want to give is about coffee. Coffee is a very delicate crop that the regeneration starts from planting materials up to the cup. Now, I want you to imagine what would motivate this coffee specialist who has been with a big experience, earning 12 million, agreeing to go for 1,900,000 in government of Uganda and continue to earn that and doesn't compromise the quality of coffee. Madam Speaker, I'm not objecting or not opposed to the government policy of rationalization. But what I want to warn is that government should consider that the moment somebody is motivated to go for 900,000 when he has been earning 12 million as a senior officer, it will either bring corruption or neglect of work. Therefore, the ministry should know that we either maintain the salary structure of these people to maintain their expertise. Otherwise, we shall lose the quality of coffee by negligence and by corruption. I thank you for information.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for the information.
Thank you.
Madam Speaker, as I conclude. Madam Speaker, as I conclude.
Yes.
From areas we have moved, you'll always see an official from the export board of that country working together with the Minister of Agriculture and working together with the agency like UCDA. They work hand in hand. If UCDA had maybe some inadequacies or some challenges, I believe if they had so, what could be better is to work on the challenges UCDA has. But most of them, you'll discover that from limited funding, government gives it. Because some of those expos, they don't go. So I could support the minority report on behalf of the people of Ddiiro East, the people of Soronko, the people of Bugisu as a region. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, and for the opportunity, because the youths of Buganda, and most especially those of Luwelo, would feel cheated if you had not given me the opportunity. Madam Speaker, UCDA should remain independent and not be rationalized because of the reasons the chairperson stated well yesterday in the report. Like, we all know and notice that it contributes a lot, actually doubles the revenue it sends to the consolidated fund than the budget it is allocated of about 42 billions. So it contributes about 82 billions, which doubles the budget allocated to it. And Madam Speaker and members, there are issues that affect farmers in UCDA. Let's try to work on those issues so that we sustain our farmers, most especially the youths who are employed by UCDA, and there are about 12.5 million people. So, Right Honorable Speaker, of late, coffee, a kilogram of coffee is about 13,000 because of the quality assurance UCDA has put in place for our people. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Right Honorable. I stand here to say that UCDA should remain. It shouldn't be dissolved. I come from a region that grows coffee. I am a coffee farmer myself. 80% of my people, the ones I represent, grow coffee. UCDA has helped and given an enabling environment for the farmers in my district to grow coffee. They have trained them. They have helped them to know how to plant coffee better. They have helped them in harvesting coffee so that when their coffee is sent on the market, it's of good quality. Now, if UCDA is dissolved, we are going to reverse all those gains. I want to say that I'm siding with the members of parliament who are saying that UCDA should not be dissolved. Honorable Minister, we are debating here, but we are representing millions of Ugandans who are surviving because of coffee. I grow because of how coffee helped my parents to pay for me school fees. There are many children out there who are surviving because of coffee. Coffee Development Authority should not be dissolved.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, I want to thank the chairperson for the report. The report clearly gave the role of UCDA, among which was that market standards are fulfilled. also said it provides timely prices on a daily basis. Right Honorable Speaker, if at all, the chairperson also indicated that when UCDA has no conflicting roles with MAIF. Now, if at all she gave all those good compliments to UCDA, then why did the conclusion become the way it came? Right Honorable Speaker, Bugisu, if you remove UCDA, it's like you are draining the blood of the whole of Bugisu, because they depend on coffee. I rightly want to side with the minority report which says that UCDA should remain, because it has done a great thing to see that the livelihood of Ugandans, especially in Bugisu, depends on it. I want to thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, I have followed the report
in my constituency
plus all its recommendations. But because we work for people, yesterday I was in Busiro.
Coffee seedlings
and we actually unanimously rejected
not UCDA. Second,
to grant government permission to rationalize or merge this agency. And they actually sent me to bring this message here, that the moment the agency is merged, that will be the end of our coffee. Because we work for people, I don't agree with merging this agency. Let us remain with our coffee. I beg to submit.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, when I became the Member of Parliament from Machinde Sabagabo, I started a policy of issuing a hook, not a fish. And in return, I've seen people in my constituency doing well, and even the line of people coming on my door asking for school fees has declined. So, I'm a medical person, and you can only remove an organ from an individual who is in a vegetative state. It's a criminal case if you remove an organ from a person who is functional. So it means they brought this idea in a bad spirit.
Thank you.
Why do you hate Ugandans?
Joyce.
Thank you, Right Honorable
Sebamala.
Right Honorable Speaker, I heard very well
Joyce,
the Minister.
Sebamala, Solo.
And the Minister was talking about the government wanting to rationalize because the government loves the coffee farmers and wants to support them. And I wanted to tell the Honorable Minister that at the time the bill was returned to Parliament, as members of the Buganda Parliamentary Caucus, we took responsibility to consult people from different areas. We went to Butambala, we went to Mityana, we went to Luwero, we went to Buddu, we went to Buyikwe, and many other parts of the country. And the people that you're talking about, Honorable Minister, those coffee farmers that you're talking about, that you want to help, that you want to support, that you're doing it for them, those coffee farmers are saying they do not want the rationalization. So if you're doing it for Ugandans, the Ugandans are saying, please do not rationalize.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker, for giving me this opportunity. Right Honorable Speaker, I come from Bukoma Simbi, a place that leads in coffee farming. And I'm a Muganda who comes from here. Buganda has suffered a lot with the poverty. That's why the Katikiro echoed the Kabakazi voice.
Don't tribalize our coffee.
I'm not tribalizing, but I come from Buganda and I'm a Muganda. So let me speak about the reality. That's why the Katikiro of Buganda echoed Kabakazi voice to grow more coffee. And through a Manterimba initiative. Right Honorable Speaker, on behalf of the people we represent, we say it's not only improper, but even a crime to rationalize UCDA.
Thank you. Christian. Madam Teacher.
Right Honorable Speaker, I thank you so much. Once again, I would like to put it right that when the minister tells us that removing accreditation from UCDA is as simple as bringing another one. Right Honorable Speaker, accreditation does not base on Ugandan standards. This accreditation is international, and we cannot say we have control over the rationale or criteria for accreditation. Once it is international, we already worried with the way we bargain here, which other institution can really play in. Right Honorable Speaker, I would like also to draw my attention to the chairperson. Chairperson, of all the people you consulted in your committee, what was the final decision? Did they tell you to rationalize or not? So the committee was supposed to come up with a solution, a conclusion, summarizing the submissions of all the people that were consulted. But I'm worried. The biggest percentage says don't rationalize, and the committee conclusion says rationalize. Right Honorable Speaker, killing somebody today and bury that person 3 years after is the same. You have already killed. So it's better don't kill now, wait for 3 years to kill that person. So this business of let's kill it now, but bury 3 years or 5 years later is not good to us, Right Honorable Speaker. And Right Honorable Speaker, I am finalizing with this one. For those of you who are well aware of enterprise value chains, not everybody performs all duties on the entire value chains. They are farmers, they are even drinkers.
Ethel. Hey, Madam Teacher first.
Right, you're right. Right Honorable Speaker, I wish to thank you. Right Honorable Speaker, 32 years ago, Right Honorable Specioza Kazibwe led this House as the Minister of Agriculture to come up with UCDA. On that day, Parliament, I've been looking through the answer, Madam Speaker. Parliament unanimously agreed that to allow the coffee growing, marketing, and value addition to thrive, there needed to be a standalone authority to handle this matter. 32 years later, Madam Speaker, UCDA has not let us down. The story has turned from bad, from the coffee wilty disease, to good, to better, to excellency, where we are now among the top 10 in the world as Uganda. Madam Speaker, today if you were to move UCDA to the ministry, who of the two should learn from the other? Because after 32 years without you handling a business, and then all of a sudden you come back, and when you read through the proposal to abolish UCDA, you will find that the workers now are going to be spread in different ministries. That means that we are going to lose all this institutional memory. And I don't know why. Why a parent? Because even in the Act itself, the ministry is given a very big role. I don't know which parent would like her child to go back home after.
Ethel.
Thank you so much.
Bovuma. Dem. Israel, Bovuma, Dem, Nachibonli.
Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker.
Dem.
Right Honorable Speaker, on behalf of the people of Wakiso and especially the people of Busiro North that are so much in farming and in coffee, I also stand
to support the contents of the majority report, less the conclusion, and also the contents of the minority report. Right Honorable Speaker, not once, not twice, we've put it here, and it was very clear that we are a people-centered parliament. Right Honorable Speaker, let's listen to the voices of Ugandans. We are handling an agency that is that is taking care of 12.5 billion people. And we've seen that this is an agency, unlike others, that could show decrease in what they are producing. But this one is showing an increase right away from 2013 to 2024 where we are. It is promising. Why are we insisting that still we should take away livelihoods of people? And also, the matter of public servants and the staff is not resolved. I'm part of the Public Service and Local Government Committee that is handling this matter of rationalization in general. The question is still, all these Ugandans, we want to send away from their workplaces. Where are they going to go? But particularly for coffee, they are the Ugandans that are helping several others to have a livelihood. So I request...
Yes, Vuvuma.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, when you look at both reports, they clearly indicate how much the entity has been generating the revenue for this country, and versus how much it has been given by the government. Right Honorable Speaker, that clearly indicates that this entity can even meet its own expenditures, including giving good salaries to its employees to motivate them. Right Honorable Speaker, the minister here told us that we should not get worried by dissolving UCDA because they are planning to work on the Food and Nutrition Authority. Right Honorable Speaker, why do we work in anticipation? Why do we lose an entity that has over 23 years of experience, that has regulated the quality of coffee of this, that has experts that have bargained for good prices on the international market? Therefore, I do not accept on rationalization of UCDA because my IF has failed even to bring the fisheries and aquaculture regulations to this parliament, and also the affected persons.
Madam, when the phone is off, when the microphone is off, it is off.
Thank you very much.
The people of Bovuma have heard.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, with the unemployment challenges Uganda faces, the report clearly brought it out that UCDA has managed to employ 12.5 million people. So we can't stand a chance of taking all these people back to nowhere when we rationalize UCDA. Lastly, Right Honorable Speaker, I beg that with the report from the major report, we need to double the budget for UCDA. This is the opportunity we have for the good contributions it has done for...
Naturally, Dennis, Christine.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Speaker, for the opportunity. And I must say the people of Kalangal are proud that you have given me this opportunity. Thank you so much. And I also thank the Almighty God that...
Honorable members, listen to Helen.
I also thank the Almighty God that I am walking again on my 2 feet. Thank you. The sports fraternity, your star is back. Yeah. Madam Speaker, for the record, I want to inform this August House
that the coffee in the 70s and 80s that used to come.
Were you born?
At least my grandparents told me so. Yes, my grandparents told me so. Madam Speaker, I was born in the 80s. And I also know exactly what I'm talking about. The coffee that was coming from the Sese Islands, you know, the aroma in the coffee from Uganda that goes out of the country, that aroma comes from the Sese Islands, just so you know. Yes.
No, it comes from Bugisu.
No. Madam Speaker, I have researched, and my grandparents told me it is from Sese Islands. It is unfortunate the minister has left. Madam Speaker, the justification the minister gives, if he were to ask me out on a date, I would not go with him. Yes, because the justification is really
He's
wanting.
your grandfather.
Who cares? Madam Speaker, I mean, it is
Honorable
wanting.
Honorable Kwang, are you in the house? Size mate.
No, that one is young.
Yes.
Madam Speaker, my point is, Madam Speaker, what I am driving to is that the justification he gives, for rationalizing UCDA is wanting. It would not make anybody believe in him.
I'm going to ask him to give us more justification. Yes.
Thank you, Madam
Before
Speaker.
I give this side to debate, before I give stepmothers, I'll give the minister first to give a proper justification. Yes, Dennis. Honorable Mapendusi.
Hello. Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, from the reports, it is evident that UCDA was established in 91 and it is 33 years old now. But since establishment, coffee production has increased from 1.7 million bags now to 6.17 million bags. And that is a very steady progress. Right Honorable Speaker, I have also learned from Honorable Kia that other parts of the country have also started growing coffee. And that is steady progress. I think, Right Honorable Speaker, it will be fatal for us to rationalize an entity, an agency that is now spreading across the country. Right Honorable Speaker, therefore, I think it is only in bad spirit that government would want to absorb and swallow this entity, UCDA. Lastly, Right Honorable Speaker, yesterday when Honorable Kabanda was submitting here, he told us how the Ministry of Agriculture lost land to General Kaindo Tafire. So if they were not, if they were serious enough, they should have been in position to keep the property of the ministry. I think they can easily also fall asleep and we lose this agency, UCDA, which has our memories.
Yes. First give your neighbor now, Christine.
Thank
Christine.
you. Thank you.
First give him to speak. David.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, I come from a coffee growing family. My dad was the chairman of the East Milk Growers Cooperative Union.
That's why I gave you.
Yes, those organizations that made people rich. In our area, I have ever read a government document where government say that it made errors in privatization, which is almost the same we are having now. The government testifying that out of the mistake she has made, this government, it was privatization. Right Honorable Speaker, recently I received the people, the elders from my constituency, who were saying that there is a deliberate program of making this central region very poor. Right Honorable Speaker, we had the lake. Our people can no longer go to the lake because of the issues there. People in Mubende cannot go to the gold mines because of the rich people owning them. What we are only remaining with is coffee, Right Honorable Speaker. Therefore,
Christian Sebamala.
Thank you.
Asimbwa Sebamala.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, I'm coming from Bukomansimbi, which is the most coffee growing district here in Uganda. And I'm so happy that I can now submit. Right Honorable Speaker, in Bukomansimbi district, when a child is beginning to speak, they start with a major cash crop in Uganda. And everyone here knows that if it wasn't coffee, we wouldn't be here today.
Oh.
Right Honorable Speaker.
Not me.
Let me.
Not
actually, because being that coffee is the major cash crop, I'm standing here to dissolve the perception instead of dissolving the UCDA. Let us dissolve the perception of these NRM MPs who have been here mentioning, some NRM MPs who have been here mentioning that the MPs this side who are discussing about coffee is because of the voters' interest, that because the election time is about to reach.
Christian,
for your information, we are just
your point.
Okay, right, Honorable Speaker. The point I'm trying.
Christian, let me guide you. Let me guide you. Let me guide you, Christian. Wait. Let me guide you. You're saying without coffee, we will not be here. Me, I'm not here because of coffee. Because me, I'm a cattle keeper. That is number one. Number two, don't start pinpointing. No NRM has talked. I have not balanced the house. Okay. I have not balanced the house.
Right, Honorable Speaker, I apologize for that. But the Honorable Member who was here.
You expand that from the other, from...
Okay. Right, Honorable Speaker.
Withdraw.
I withdraw from the majority, but there is a Honorable Member who came here and said... Right, Honorable Speaker.
And speak why you don't want rationalization.
Okay, let me withdraw. But I know when it comes that side, that's what they're going to say. I'm withdrawing that. Right, Honorable Speaker. The point I'm trying to bring out is that we are not speaking about UCDA because of the voters, because of the elections which are due. We are fighting.
Simba.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, yesterday we were told by the chairperson that UCDA performs beyond the target. They have improved the quality and they have raised...
Honorable Simba, just a minute. Yeah? In the public gallery this afternoon, we have students and teachers from Goodmark Secondary School located in Mukono District. They are represented by Honorable Kiwanuka Abdallah and Honorable Nabukera Hanifa. Hanifa, they are there. Wave. You greet them.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. My students
Simba, I'll
of
give
Mukono, you're very welcome to Parliament. This is the Parliament of Uganda, and this is a Parliament that makes laws that govern the country. You are welcome. Right Honorable Speaker, thank you for this time. I want to associate myself with the minority report, and also want to disagree with rationalization.
Thank you. Simba.
Thank you. Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I was saying yesterday, the Honorable Chair told us that UCDA is performing beyond the target. They have improved by quality, and they have raised good revenue. Now, we are asking, why do we rationalize UCDA before we think of other entities which are not making profit, like URA and other entities?
Thank you.
I think UCDA must stay, and we think of URA and other entities.
Thank you.
Sebamala.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker.
Mukatuliki, and then Kawalia.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, I will stand here to tell my fellow members
Other members, listen.
that I'm not only a coffee farmer, but also an exporter. I have been in this business for quite some time. Coffee development has very many stages, from growing, that is seedlings, the type of soil, transportation, all those steps employ Ugandans to export. And the quality of coffee is what makes us stand out in the international market. It is what those people out there are looking for. I want the minister. Why I discern, and I don't want actually to talk about dissolving UCDA is one. I want us to tell us how far you are, what steps you have taken, how far you are from within all those steps of coffee production, of the coffee value chain. Where are you? What shows that you're doing something before you even dissolve UCDA? So that we can say 3 years. You will say that you won't even need you don't even need only 3 years to go ahead.
Thank you.
Just transportation. Sorry.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I would like to thank the chairman. The person who read the chairperson of the committee for the wonderful report she gave, apart from the conclusion. I liked every bit of it because she really brought it out that there was nothing that was repeated or, and everything, but the conclusion was, that's where we diverted, we deviated from each other. And my point here is, Madam Speaker, when you look at history, we had the cash crops. We had the coffee, cotton, tobacco, and tea. All those cash crops, they actually mapped that cotton is northern, I think tobacco West Nile, and then tea some parts. And there are organizations that run all these. There was Lint Marketing Board for cotton. There was coffee.
Kawalia.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, let me add my voice to that of the precurrent speakers, that at least I also want to appreciate the report, apart from the conclusion. When we are speaking about coffee, we are speaking about the chief cash crop of this nation. It is the backbone of most of us here. We all know that most of our parents, our grandparents, benefited from coffee. And during those days, like in the 60s and 70s, the quality of our coffee was compromised. It was not until when UCDA was established that at least the quality of our coffee has improved. So, as Ugandans, we all know what coffee has done to most of the Ugandans, most especially the youth. We all know that most Ugandans are unemployed, and most of those who don't have jobs had resolved to go and start growing coffee. What plans does government have? We all know the bureaucracy that is very, very growing in most of the government agencies, most especially the ministries. You're now saying that you want to merge or even dissolve or abolish. What plans do you have for the young generation who had
Can we hear now from the
Thank
Minister?
you, Madam Speaker.
Can we hear from the Minister? Before the Minister, the Lord has something. Before the Minister, the Lord.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. And Right Honourable Speaker, I'm glad that to a great extent, people that, colleagues that come from the coffee growing areas have been able to voice out the concerns of the stakeholders from the areas where they come. Right Honourable Speaker, we were here yesterday and the reports were tabled. I listened to the report of the Honourable Linda, very good report, as she kept laying down the good about UCDA. She mentioned UCDA is hitting its targets. The coffee economy has grown over the years. The roles of UCDA and MAIF are totally different and cannot be bungled together, and so on and so forth. I wondered what happened now with the conclusion, because I thought after laying that stage, it would be clear that MAIF should keep doing what it is doing. UCDA should be empowered to continue doing what it has been doing. Honourable Speaker, of course, like any other entity, UCDA has some imperfections, without a doubt. But the challenges at the ministry are enormous. And that's why, as colleagues have been clearly airing it out, some of what the ministry is handling has seemed to be too much on its plate. And yet we are saying UCDA has been thriving. Why don't we empower it to thrive a lot more? Why don't we empower it to go to those areas which have now begun growing coffee? Because I listened to colleagues from West Nile and elsewhere, and they're saying we've also begun to grow coffee. But UCDA had not reached there. And clearly it is because, Right Honourable Speaker, government had decided, let us zone the country. These ones coffee, these ones dairy, and that kind of thing. And we must be able to move away from that. Yeah? Yeah, because if a crop can grow in a particular area, why not? Why not let it? So can we empower UCDA to go to those other areas? Because if it is showing that it is able to thrive in the areas where it is thriving now, why do you imagine it will have limitations when you empower it to go elsewhere? Honourable Speaker, the stakeholders of the coffee economy, including, of course, MPs from the coffee growing areas, have spoken on behalf of the 12.5 million people that are involved in the coffee economy. Can we listen to these stakeholders? Yesterday we did listen to colleagues who were making a case saying they are from the dairy areas, the cattle growing areas, the cotton growing areas, and they told us, because we began to defend them, and they said, no, you people keep quiet. We are the ones who grow cotton. We are the ones who are producing milk. So we understand our issues better. And we want those entities to go back to the ministries. We actually gave up the fight. We said, now, how do you fight for someone who is saying, for us who want our entities to be rationalized? We let them be. Today, Right Honourable Speaker, you're hearing voices of people who represent stakeholders that are growing coffee. We need to listen to them. Honourable Speaker, I even think, personally, if need be, maybe some people who might say, well, we are not too sure you could grant them maybe 2 weeks or that kind of thing to go and establish from their constituents, to be certain, because a number of us who are speaking, we have consulted the stakeholders that we represent. So we're not just speaking our mind. We're speaking the mind of the stakeholders that we represent. Honorable Speaker, very critically, the mandate of the 11th Parliament, this one, ends in 2026. I wonder why then we would say, let's give 3 years or even 5 years to bind the 12th Parliament. Why? Why do we want to bind the Parliament that will come after us? A number of us, I believe, will be back here, but we shall be back in the 12th Parliament. This is the 11th Parliament. If government is convinced that it requires 3 years or even 5 years to get the ministry set, to put in place all the infrastructure that is required, why don't you wait for the 3 years to elapse, put your house in order, come to the 12th Parliament and make your case? Because now we are operating in anticipation to say, well, we hope in 3 years we shall be ready. But you see, as some colleagues have mentioned rightly, to get the certification and all the infrastructure that is required in place, you need several years to do that. So government, let the 3 years, 5 years, or whatever time you require to get ready, to put your house in order. Come to the 12th Parliament and make your case. Don't ask the 11th Parliament to bind the Parliament that will come after us.
Thank you. Honourable Minister. Yes.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker, I've been in the House and I've noted and observed you've given opportunity to your left side to contribute on this very important national matter. And those of us this side
I'm going to give you.
Have been denied the opportunity to contribute on this very important matter, Right Honourable Speaker.
I'm going to give you.
So,
I want a clarification. I want a clarification from the minister first on what they have asked. Then I will come on this side.
Most obliged.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Speaker. The intensity of this debate shows the seriousness of the subject. We are in a country which is struggling for opportunity for people. Now, I have listened and I would like to make some comments. First, the political economy of the so-called allocation of specialized crops in various parts of Uganda. It has got a colonial history. First of all, the British told us a big lie that coffee does not grow in northern Uganda. Because they were white and better educated than us, we believed them. But there's an old man called Wilson Lutara and another old man called Peter Abe and another one called Semei Nyanzi. They planted coffee in their compounds in defiance to challenge that lie. Why did the British do this? They subjected the people from the Upper Nile, which is northern Uganda, to the seasonal crops, which require a lot of hard labor. It is not as rewarding, and you are tied down to only your garden. You can't even operate a shop. Unlike the people in the south who had the perennial crops like tea and coffee, while the coffee is making money for you, are able to do other things. And the purpose, the hidden purpose, was to force the people of the North to enroll in the army and choose salaries over self-employment. I thought I should share that aspect of the political economy. So I think it is inappropriate to say we are not to blame that you never caught up with the coffee. It is important that we understand it as a matter of fact. Secondly, Madam Speaker, and finally, there is a false dichotomy here. We are not choosing between Ministry of Agriculture and UCDA. They are both part of Uganda. What we want to achieve is to share our real experiences vis-a-vis what the government policy is. When you are choosing between your experience and what you are being told, I'm sure you choose your experience. Madam Speaker, my wife is a coffee grower. And the coffee is now flowering. She's even picking. I have not seen UCDA on the farm. I have not seen Ministry of Agriculture either. That is my experience. Madam, don't shout, improve your argument.
Honorable members, honorable members, honorable members. Wait. Honorable members.
We are here sharing experiences.
Honorable members.
UCDA has not helped us.
Honorable
Ministry of
members.
Agriculture has not helped us.
Honorable members.
We are virtually on our own. So let's find a way together.
Honorable Minister of Agriculture.
Let us not start this false rope pulling.
Honorable Minister of Agriculture.
In the 3 years, UCDA will be packed at the Ministry of Agriculture. It is a parking lot while we find a way to serve those of us who are on our own. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Honorable Minister. Honorable members, kindly listen.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, and honorable colleagues. I want to thank you for your contribution and for the clarification you thought. I would like to start with the justification for the transition.
Honorable members, kindly listen to the minister. You wanted a clarification.
Right Honorable Speaker, once again I want to thank members for their contribution and also want to thank them for the clarification they thought, because most of the arguments are not based on informed decision of the intention of government. One is justification for 3 years transition. Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, government is sensitive to the stakeholders. And because stakeholders seem to have been misinformed by dissenting views, government decided to allow 3 years transition to make sure that the stakeholders' concerns are plugged so that we move forward. And 3 years was arrived of interaction of the stakeholders and the head of state. Right Honorable Speaker, there are members who are saying that the UCDA is independent.
He wants a clarification.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I see we are moving slowly and we are going to get to a point where the House needs to understand the minister very well.
Yes.
He mentions that there is an agreement or the meeting took place, and 3 years is what government is willing under transition. Before we even go to the 3 years, the minister must define so that we understand the ingredients of transition. What is it when you say transition? Because if that is clear to this House, it may actually unlock the gridlock. What is it that entails in the package called transition of UCDA to the Ministry of Agriculture? You speak about that so that we see all the elements, and if that comes out clear, it may help us to move, because throwing the word transition and may not help us.
Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, we are changing the mode of operation. We are not changing the intentions and functions of regulation of the coffee sector. The 3 years transition means that we are putting them in the structure in the ministry to make sure that we don't make any mistake in the process of stabilizing them in the new department. 2 years.
The reason why I'm asking, when we now go into the clause by clause, we need to define the word transition. If we go there, and if you cannot explain it here, it makes it difficult for us to think that we should even go there.
We shall define it.
Right Honorable Speaker, this transition period will be supervised by the Ministry of Public Service. And yes, because it is the mandated ministry. Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, it is not true that UCDA is independent of the ministry. UCDA is semi-autonomous. And whatever they have been doing, the policy guidance is from the Ministry of Agriculture. Right Honorable Speaker, there is no such a thing like accreditation of UCDA. First, listen. The membership of the countries for coffee is by country. Accreditation is for the labs. And I want to tell you, Right Honorable Speaker and members, when we withdrew from ICO, it meant that Uganda would not take directly coffee unless they go through another agency. And this is a mischief that you people now supporting UCDA had actually pointed out. Somebody, I think this was MP from Buvuma. I want to congratulate him, to appreciate that oil palm has transformed the island. But also it has transformed that island. There is no oil palm authority. So, honorable colleagues, you raise the issues. Let me respond to them one by one. The coffee requires a regulator from garden to the table. The regulating authority is derived from the law, and the government intends to empower the new department with the same law to give them authority.
When you were talking, the minister never put you in order. No, you first listen to the minister. Yes, Honorable Minister, could the 3 years be a time that you want to buy for you to get the quality control systems?
Right, Honorable Speaker. as I mentioned earlier, we don't want to lay off workers who are doing the work. We are not going to abolish the functions of UCDA. The functions of UCDA will be executed. Please.
Clarification. As soon as it's it.
Clarification, just Madam Speaker. Clarification.
You sit.
Clarification, Madam Speaker.
Sit.
Right Honourable Speaker, the authority to regulate the power to regulate will be to the department.
Which department? The UCDA. Which department in the ministry? The coffee department.
They will be in the
UCDA.
They will be in Department of Coffee Development in Extension.
Yes.
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 See, Directorate. Right Honourable Speaker, Right Honourable Speaker and colleagues, the approved structure is that there will be a commissioner for coffee development. And this commissioner will have all his assistants and support staff to regulate the coffee industry. Right Honourable Speaker, Honourable Sebamara inquired me to show the House how far we have gone with the regulation of the coffee industry in the value chain. Right now, we are using UCDA to do the job. From UCDA, we are going to use the same department to do the job. Whatever is said now, whatever they have achieved, the law of agency is that the actions of the agent binds on the principle. And to the supreme authority lies the blame or credit for the results. The good results, therefore, are credited to the ministry and the government itself. I want to clarify that the colonial zoning ended, and therefore we are looking at soil suitability mapping, and we have recommended enterprise selection countrywide.